The Order of the Brothers of the Blessed Virgin Mary of Mount Carmel or Carmelites, sometimes simply Carmel by synecdoche, Latin, Ordo Fratrum Beatissimæ Virginis Mariæ de Monte Carmelo, is a Roman Catholic religious order founded, probably in the 12th century, on Mount Carmel, hence its name. However, historical records about its origin remain uncertain. Saint Bertold has traditionally been associated with the founding of the order, but few clear records of early Carmelite history have survived, and this is likely to be a later extrapolation by hagiographers. There is a very small body of Anglican Carmelites. Charism, the charism, or spiritual focus, of the Carmelite order is contemplation. Carmelites understand contemplation in a broad sense encompassing prayer, community, and service. These three elements are at the heart of the Carmelite charism. The most recent statement about the charism of Carmel was in the 1995 Constitutions of the Order, in which Chapter 2 is entirely devoted to the idea of charism. Carmel understands contemplation and action to be complementary, not contradictory. What is distinctive of Carmelites is the way that they practice the elements of prayer, community and service, taking particular inspiration from the prophet Elijah and the Blessed Virgin Mary, patrons of the order. The order is considered by the Church to be under the special protection of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and thus has a strong Marian devotion to Our Lady of Mount Carmel. As in most of the orders dating to medieval times, the first order is the friars, who are active/contemplative, the second order is the nuns, who are cloistered, and the third order consists of laypeople who continue to live in the world, and can be married, but participate in the charism of the order by liturgical prayers, epistolates, and contemplative prayer. There are also offshoots such as active Carmelite sisters. History origins. Carmelite tradition traces the origin of the order to a community of hermits on Mount Carmel, that succeeded the schools of the prophets in ancient Israel, although there are no certain records of hermits on this mountain before the 1190s. By this date a group of men had gathered at the well of Elijah on Mount Carmel. These men, who had gone to Palestine from Europe either as pilgrims or as crusaders, chose Mount Carmel in part because it was the traditional home of Elijah. The foundation is believed to have been dedicated to the Blessed Virgin Mary. The Carmelites were forced to leave the site, and the Holy Land, in 1291, and the original conventual buildings were destroyed several times, but they were able to return in the 19th century, when a monastery of Descalce Carmelite friars was built close to the original site under the auspices of Fr. Julius of the Savior and consecrated on June 12, 1836. Sometime between 1206 and 1214 the hermits, about whom very little is known, approached the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem and Papal Legate, Saint Albert of Jerusalem, for a rule. Albert had been responsible for giving a rule to the Humiliati during his long tenure as Bishop of Vercelli, and was well versed in diplomacy, being sent by Pope Innocent III as Papal Legate to what was known as the Eastern Province. Albert created a document, the Rule of Saint Albert, which is both juridically terse and replete with scriptural allusions, thereby rooting the hermits in the life of the universal Church and their own aspirations. The rule consisted of 16 articles, which enjoined strict obedience to their prior, residence in individual cells, constancy in prayer, the hearing of Mass every morning in the oratory of the community, vows of poverty and toil, daily silence from vespers until terce the next morning, abstinence from all forms of meat except in cases of severe illness, and fasting from Holy Cross Day, September 14th, until the Easter of the following year. The rule of St. Albert addresses a prior whose name is only listed as B. When later required to name their founders, the brothers referred to both Elijah and the Blessed Virgin as early models of the community. Later, under pressure from other European mendicant orders to be more specific, the name Saint Bertold was given, possibly drawn from the oral tradition of the order.